Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark,
And I'm Rob.
and today we're going to talk about the Colorado Buffaloes' 31-26 victory over the North Dakota State Bisons. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so, and hit that notification bell when you do, because Rob wants 4,000 subscribers, and we're getting close, and we need your help. So, Rob, I have mixed feelings about Deion Sanders' personality. Sometimes it's interesting, and sometimes he's too sensitive to criticism, and he's got a big ego, obviously. But sometimes people also overly criticize him in terms of both his coaching and some of his play. So I understand where he's coming from at times. So right now he's got a reporter that he's banned. I guess Colorado officially did it, not Deion Sanders didn't do it. Okay, so the University of Colorado has made the controversial decision to ban Denver Post columnist Sean Keeler from asking questions at football-related events, citing sustained personal attacks on head coach Deion Sanders in the football program. This move, of course, has sparked debate about press freedom and the role of critical journalism in sports. He's gone on to say things like false prophet, deposition Deion, Planet Prime, Bruce Lee BS, the Deion Kool-Aid, and a circus in terms of his coverage of Sanders. He'll be allowed to attend football practice and games and other events, but he will not be permitted to ask questions. So this is according to the university did this, but they blame Sanders for it because they think he's behind it, apparently. And so people in the media have criticized him for doing that. Deion Sanders also had a contentious take, a couple weeks ago when they were asking reporters just a simple question like, did you do something to bolster your offensive line? And he said bolster, and then he used another word, and he goes, why don't you just say improve? Like he was just giving the reporter a hard time. And then he was ranked the second worst coach in the Big 12. And it was from CBS Sports from a guy named David Cobb, and some guy from CBS Sports, just a local CBS channel, and he wouldn't let him ask a question because he was from CBS Sports. He goes, you guys know what you did. And so, he's being difficult with reporters right now. And I think it stems from the criticism he got the way the season stopped last year, Rob, where they lost the last 6 games they had, and they blew 2 leads during this season. And he got some criticism for his coaching.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's definitely egomaniac. If you've seen him play pro football, you know how he is and stuff. And but I mean, I almost want to side with him on this point with the reporter being banned. I mean, you can't say, and they put in a critical. You can be critical of the program. You can ask questions like, "What do you think you did wrong on this?" And the coach can say, "Oh yeah, maybe we should have did this," but to outright this, try to put like words like the words that he used, what was it, criminals and all these other stupid words or stupid things. That's unnecessary. That's not reporting. That's not being critical. That just seems like you have a vendetta against him.
Yeah, he also said Sanders was better suited for politics than coaching. So I'm going to defend Sanders in this aspect, Rob. I don't know how great a coach he is yet because his career is not finished, but we know he turned around a program that wasn't doing anything before he got there, Jackson State, and they were 12-1 the last year he was there. When after he left, they were 7-4. So we know he turned that program around, and I know that Nick Saban called him an excellent coach. I think Nick Saban knows more about coaching than Mr. Cobb, who did the article. I think Nick Saban knows more than Keeler also about coaching. And 2nd out of 12, after one season in that conference is, difficult. Yeah, you can give him some criticism for losing 12 straight and blowing a couple leads, but he's shown he can coach at Jackson State, Rob.
But what does that mean? He should be a politician rather than a coach. What does he mean?
It's a pretty low comment, Rob, to say he basically shouldn't be a coach. That's what he's saying. He's a false prophet. He just talks positive things and stuff like that. Okay, so they laid an egg last year. Well, give him a second year. Let's see how they do this year. The conference was tougher than what he was used to.
And he brought in all these transfer players who have never played together for 3 or 4 years. And I saw the game last night. I knew North Dakota State's a good team, and they did win. And he kind of criticized his team. He criticized his team and says we got to play better. And he needed to shore up his offensive line. But and so if you watch, I mean, they always have sideline shots of him when they call timeout, or he has his favorite player is the kicker. And
Right.
every time he comes out, his last name is Marta. And when he comes out, they have a song that they play when he comes out. And he's just one of his favorite players. You see when he made the field goal, he just comes over and just gives the kid a hug and stuff. I mean, I don't see other coaches do that when the kicker makes a field goal. Or he's really involved with his players, gets in their faces and stuff. And maybe people don't like that, but he seems to be a hands-on coach. But I mean, that means he cares about his players.
Right. And Rob, last year they played 6 teams that were ranked in the top 23 when they played them. So they played a pretty tough schedule last year. And as a first-year coach, most of the players were new. Takes a while to gel. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, yesterday's a good start for them. But they have 2 superstars, Rob. They have 2 people who could win the Heisman Trophy. And that's a pretty good combination. His son, Shadir Sanders, who was 26 for 34, 445 yards.
Mm-hmm.
It's an average of 13 yards per catch and 4 TDs, only 1 interception, which was kind of a funky interception, and a QBR of 83.3.
Yeah, and he was getting. I was watching the game. He unfortunately, because of his offensive line, he takes some nasty. Last year he took some hits, a lot of sacks, but I mean he stays in the pocket. He doesn't shy away. He moves around, but he focuses in on making that pass. He'll take a hit in order to complete that pass. He'll get back up. There was one play where he got hit. I mean, after I don't know, it was a good hit, but he got up and patted the guy on the butt. Said, "Hey, no, nice play." But that was after he threw the ball like maybe 20 yards. So I mean,
right.
But still, he stays in the pocket and he can move around the pocket. He's definitely a man. I can see him. He's a definite NFL quarterback.
Yeah, sure. They think he's going to go very high. Travis Hunter is the other superstar, and he actually plays cornerback and receiver, and he's made some fantastic catches, both in interceptions and receptions before yesterday. And yesterday he made like 3 great catches, 1 on the sideline, 2 in the end zone. He had 7 catches for 132 yards at 18.9 yards a catch and 3 TDs. And they also had another good receiver named Jimmy Horn Jr. who had 7 receptions for 198 yards in a TD. So they got some potential, powerful, explosive offense there, Rob. So now it's a question whether the defense can control the other team or not.
Yeah, I like Hunter. Hunter's old school. He plays defense and offense. How tiring is that? You're playing that the whole game, and yet you still can make plays. That's old school, and that shows what an athlete he is.
Right. So I'm not going to judge Deion Sanders' coaching ability until he plays a couple more years at Colorado. All right, he laid an egg last year, especially the last part of the season. But we'll see how he does this year. You know what I mean? To call him, shouldn't even be a coach. It's silly.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
No, I go by the theory. These reporters and these sites, these sports people, they get too much into them. They're the ones that have the egos too. They tend to have a little ego in them too. So,
right, and in his football career, he was playing for Atlanta, and he was also playing for the Braves, and they'd get off to a slow start, Atlanta Falcons, and then he'd come over after he played baseball, and they'd start winning. So I remember that. I mean, it's unusual for a cornerback as opposed to a quarterback to have that kind of turnaround. And then he was with San Francisco. They won a Super Bowl. He went to Dallas. They won a Super Bowl. And you don't think he makes the difference? He takes away half the field.
Right.
And he was the best cornerback I ever saw, even though, he is a wimpy tackler, when people come near him. But rarely do they catch the ball on him. So.
Right. Well, they got to catch the ball first. He gives a two-hand touch or flag football playing the tacklers. So
yeah, I saw a game where he covered Jerry Rice the whole game. He ran in front of Jerry Rice twice to get 2 interceptions in one game. So there was this stat they had about they figure out tackling by cornerbacks, and there's a stat where he was bad at it, and there was more yards gained against him. But how often do people run around all the way to the wide end of the cornerbacks to the running back? I don't think that's a very important stat for a cornerback. So people gave him a hard time for being wimpy about that. But I'd take him over anybody. And He got upset when he was voted like a number 33 player of all time or something, and he thought he should be in. No, I think it was like number 38, and he thought he should be in the top 22. And I agree with him. If you were starting in a defense all time, there's no way he wouldn't start a cornerback.
Well, yeah, I'd definitely pick him.
So that puts him in the top 22 right there.
Yeah,
but some people don't like him because he has a big ego and he's not a macho football player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean with reporters or with a writer, or whatever. If you don't comply to the way they think you should act, then they get pissed off or they don't like you. But then at least he's being himself. He's not phony. This is who he is, and he even says that this is who I am. You know, he's not going to play. You know, he's not going to play these little games. You know, but I mean, yeah. But like I said, he's really into his players on the sidelines. Because they always show him in the sidelines shots, and he's hugging them or getting in their face. And even after he gets in their face, you know, he gives them a little tap on the helmet and okay, come on, let's go.
So we'll see. There's some information supposedly in the locker room is tactics and stuff like that. And that's another thing he's upset about. He goes, what do they know about our locker room? He goes, what's chemistry? You know, he gave him a hard time at the press conference. I don't know what's going on in his conference. If they win, it shows they have good chemistry, you know, unless you're like horror stories, which I don't think you got right now. So, you know, when you're losing 6 straight games and you blow a couple leads, guess what? The chemistry goes out on a team and that locker room gets upset and they start arguing with each other. So does he have a toxic environment? I'm gonna cut him a break on that right now. Let's see how they play this year. Like I said, I have mixed feelings about his personality. Sometimes he's unlikable, sometimes he's very likable. He does have a huge ego, but we'll see what happens with his coaching career when it goes a little farther along than one season when he just at that school. It takes a while to turn around the program.
Right.
So we'll see. But you know, he's got 2 superstars. Either one could win the Heisman this year. And, you know, so the defense can solidify that they're going to be a threat. If not, they're going to have, you know, a mixed season, I guess.
So the main thing as a coach, and I think that's what since he's been in the game, the main thing as a coach, I mean, losing sucks. I hate losing. I'm one of the poorest losers, Mark. But as long as my team played hard, that's all I can do. I mean, you can't win every game. I've learned that. Right. But as long as they play hard and make the effort, you know, what can you do? That's all you can deal with. And
when you can see that the team is tuned out and not playing hard for a coach anymore, that's when they tend to get fired. You know, you've seen coaches that have been in the NFL there for a long time and they're just not winning anymore, but they're also not playing hard. That's when you can say, okay, you got to make a change. Right. But if they play hard for Deion Sanders, that's a good sign.
Right.
I agree with you. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's only one game. And what's the schedule coming up, Rob? You get the schedule.
They play Nebraska on the 7th.
Okay, so that's obviously a big game. Nebraska is traditionally good. I don't believe much in preseason rankings. I don't think they mean anything until they play at least 3 or 4 games. So we'll see what happens. They got that. They got Colorado State, Baylor, UCF, Kansas State, Arizona, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, who's really good. Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. So that's not an easy schedule.
No, they're playing in the Big 12. That's a really good conference. So at least two of those teams should be in the running for the new playoff format.
Yeah, and 12 teams make it this year. So we'll see if Colorado makes it, and if so, they're going to be a threat.
Yeah, Utah's probably the one major team, and then Oklahoma State.
Yeah, when you got that much offensive talent, you're a threat to win any game, I think. All right. So let us know what you think about Deion and how he's been difficult with the press, and the press has been difficult with him. He tends to hold a grudge, but it seems like I agree with Rob. Your job as a sports writer or sports commentator or sports announcer is to be objective, even if you're covering a particular city or particular team. And that means, if you don't like somebody, criticize them a little bit more than you normally would. That's going to be natural because you don't like somebody. But at the same time, don't say things like you shouldn't be a coach, and try to be objective about it. Maybe say something positive also, like, but something like that. When you're just all negative, you can understand why you don't want to hear from that reporter anymore.
Yeah, why would I want to talk to you? I don't want to talk to you.
Right. It's not your job to be vindictive just because you don't like somebody. Your job is to be objective and be critical at the same time. Right. But I don't think that guy's doing it. I think that guy went overboard. And they did that. Yeah, free press. But yes, he was wrong in the first place by not being objective, in my opinion, from what I can gather, what the things that he said. And there's a couple other reporters that don't like Deion Sanders that have given him a hard time, and same thing. So we'll see. Like 12th worst coach in the Big 12.
Yeah, come on.
We'll see. We'll see what ranking coach he'll get at the end of the season. So we'll find out. I don't know.
Right.
Let us know what you think. He's a very controversial topic, and the team, and we'll see. They were all in the news last year until they started losing. So this year they start winning. You're going to hear about them every week, and they're going to talk about them. Pardon the eruption every week until they start losing.
Right.
Anyways, if we're going to go live tonight, Rob and I will both be there. Big game. I heard the tickets are really expensive. They're going from like $200, the cheapest ones, to $2,000 to go see it live in Chicago Sky, because it's game 4 between the Indiana Fever and Chicago Sky. The first 2 were won by Indiana. They had a big lead and blew it against the Sky in game 3. So obviously they don't want to do that again. And they don't want to lose to Angel Reese. And they don't want to lose because they're on a winning streak, and they got to try to beat the teams that don't have winning records. At the same time, the Sky is trying to turn things around because they've been losing. So anyways, that's a big game at 7:30 on ION. Join us for that. Our normal live show is on Mondays, but we won't do it on Labor Day. So the next one is September 9th at 6 to 8 Eastern time. You can call in for that. So please join us. And if you like this video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Hit that notification bell when you do, because we're going for 4,000 subscribers and we need your help. If you want to donate to this channel, hit Super Chats or Super Thanks. And there's also a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.